With all its inlets, coves, bays, and islands, technically Maine has a longer coastline than California. Acadia National Park was the first national park to be created east of the Mississippi River and is the only one in the Northeast. We did the scenic loop, hiked to an island, and explored a rocky beach.
We are Jordan and Megan.
We live and travel full-time with these two goofballs, Max and Allie, in our converted cargo trailer.
Mount Desert Island is one of the largest islands on the eastern seaboard and just off the coast of Maine. The French explorer who named it noted it was the island of barren mountains, which we didn't quite understand because we see it as a lush and green and not barren in the least.
We were thrilled to be able to spend some time at one of America's top 10 most visited national parks. We were a little early in the year for most things to be open, but the lack of crowds always makes it that much more enjoyable for us. The sign said 52 stone steps to the visitor center. We started counting them, but we must have gotten distracted because we definitely lost track along the way.
The visitor center was closed, so we raced back down the stairs and decided to go for an evening drive to get a feel for the park.
This quintessential scenic drive winds you through forests, under bridges, and past lakes and mountains. Then, all of a sudden, you'll find yourself on the shoreline with beautiful views of the ocean.
The scenic loop is a 2-lane, one-way road. This was great because we could stop pretty much anywhere we wanted to take in the view and get some great pictures.
You start to see jagged cliffs and rocky beaches along the coastal waters.
We had great timing. Our first glimpse of the park was at sunset, which made the scenery even prettier.
The next morning, we drove the trailer into the town of Bar Harbor. We were a little too early for whale-watching tours, but we did find a fun short hike to do. That can only be done at low tide.
Low tide exposes a gravel bar that connects the town of Bar Harbor to Bar Island. There is a 3-hour window where you can walk out to the island without getting wet. We took our time and checked out the small tide pools and looked for shells along the way.
Once you get over to Bar Island, part of the trail is actually in the national park, so you need to have your pass or your receipt ready to show the ranger on duty. At the end of the mile-long trail is a high point that gives you great views of Bar Harbor and Frenchman Bay.
Sometimes we act like tourists and we do the touristy things like Thunderhole.
Thunderhole is a cavern that water surges into and spouts out of,
Here it goes.
making a clapping sound like the roar of distant thunder.
It splashed really good one time. It might do it this one. That's dropping a long ways.
It is said that the clapping sound is the best
Oh, that was a good one.
about an hour or two before high tide.
Nearby were some cliffs, and high tide had not quite come in all the way,
Let's go out there.
so we climbed down to explore the rocky beach.
Yeah. Experiencing these rocky headlands was fun. We had to navigate the large rocks, and you really felt small next to the tall cliffs. We could watch tide coming in, which admittedly made me a little nervous. It's coming in fast, especially with sunset around the corner. In my head, we were going to get caught after dark with high tide rolling in, but in true fashion, Jordan is never nervous, and it didn't take much to convince me that we would easily have enough time to climb back up. Once I stopped worrying and relaxed a little bit,
Wow.
the waves that were crashing in were really at their best, and they were a lot of fun to watch.
We had just enough daylight left to drive up to the top of Cadillac Mountain to watch the sunset. We knew this was a popular activity to do, but we started up the mountain hoping we would find a parking spot anyway.
It was fun being able to get a bird's eye view of the Porcupine Islands and where we had been on Bar Island.
It was definitely quite crowded despite it being pre-peak season.
It gets pretty cold and windy at the highest point in Acadia National Park. We bundled up with what clothes we had with us to take in the panoramic view just in time to see the colors change as the sun disappeared. Thanks for watching. If you ever get a chance to go to Acadia National Park, go! For more Perpetual adventures, please consider liking, subscribing, and following us. It will help us continue to share our journey. We aren't quite done in Acadia National Park. I hope you are comfortable with heights, because next time we climb to get a spectacular view. This hike takes us up some steep granite staircases and even uses ladder rungs.